Hey, you're back. Thanks for meeting up with me again. Lesson 3 in our unit price and currency exchange unit. In this lesson, we're going to deal with unit price. Now, this is actually a pretty big deal in the real world, okay? Because at some point, you're going to have to start adulting. And part of adulting is buying yourself some groceries and budgeting and all of that fun sort of stuff. So the unit price tells you essentially how much one thing costs. So when you go to a grocery store, you think about the fact that, you can get a jar of peanut butter that's this big for $2, or you can get a jar of peanut butter that's this big for $3, and you're trying to figure out, okay, which one is actually the better deal. Okay. And to do that, you compare the unit price. Okay, now I have actually, my head is probably in the way, so I'm going to just hide myself for 1 second. This is actually a common sort of sticker that you would see at a grocery store. Okay, so what I just want to show you here, next time you go shopping, I want you to look for how the this wouldn't be on the item itself. It would be like kind of at the bottom. If you see a bunch of cans of tomato soup, right underneath it, you would see some sticker like this. So this is actually talking about Cheerios, and they're saying it's $2.98 for 12 ounces of Cheerios, okay? But what I want you to notice is this guy right here. It's telling you the unit price per ounce. It's 24.9 cents per ounce. Legally, in Canada, the unit price has to be shown for you, okay? So when you are shopping, you're doing that adulting sort of stuff, check out the unit prices to help you compare which one is actually the better deal, okay? All right, so unit rate and unit price are the things we're going to talk about here. The unit rate is a rate in which the second number, or the denominator of the rate, is 1. Now, actually, friends, we were doing that, actually 2 lessons ago, when we were introducing rates in the first place, right? When I asked you to write the simplified version of that rate, we always took the top divided by the bottom so that we could say per one item. Do you remember that? Okay, if you don't remember that, go back and watch video 1. Okay, so the 1 is usually not written. For example, 50 kilometers per hour means 50 kilometers in 1 hour. Okay, very, very similar, but just kind of maybe a special application of it would be the unit price. Unit price is an example of a unit rate, which is the cost per unit or one item. Unit prices are helpful when comparing prices of different products and determining the best buy. When calculating the unit price, the dollar amount should always be in the numerator of the ratio, okay? So the dollar amount should always go on top. Okay, so class example number 1, I'll just hide myself for just 1 sec here. A grocery store is advertising 6 cans of soup for $3.99. How much does 1 can of soup cost? Okay, so we did very, very similar questions to this in the first lesson. Remember, we just said in that last slide, the dollar amount has to go on the top. Okay, so we're going to have $3.99 on the top, 6 on the bottom, and we end up, when we go through $3.99 divided by 6, we end up with 0.67 of a dollar, or 67 cents. Now, when we are talking about money, if this is a final answer, you're always going to want to round to 2 decimal places. Okay, if you did this in your calculator, you were actually looking at 0.6666666666. The reason I've written it as 0.67 is because I want to round to 2 decimal places. So just a quick reminder, okay, I don't want to bore you, but I do want you to feel really comfortable. If I'm looking at this, okay, and I want to round to 2 decimal places, that means I want to stop right here. If I want to stop right there, I got to look at the next number. If that next number is 5 or greater, then the number I'm stopping at has to round up. Okay, if that next number was less than 5, I could have left the 6 right where it is, but that's why I ended up with the 0.67. Okay, so we say 67 cents per can. Remember that slash right here refers to the per, or for the one item, for the one can, okay? Okay, a grocery store lists the price of peaches. Going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. Sorry, it's an actual song, look it up. Okay, the price of peaches is 5 peaches for $1.25. How much would 11 peaches cost? Now, we can do this in 2 different ways. We can solve it using proportions, which is what we talked about in the last lesson. Okay, if we were to use a proportion, oh, I'll just hide my face for a quick sec to make sure you guys all have the question. Okay, if we were to do it as a proportion, it doesn't actually matter who's on top and who's on the bottom of our fraction, as long as we're consistent with both of the fractions that we set up. So I'm going to say 5 peaches is $1.25. I purposely did this where I did not put the dollar amount on top. If you're finding the unit rate, you have to put the dollar amount on top. Okay, but in a proportion, it doesn't matter as long as you are consistent. What I mean by that is you have peaches on top and a price, let's say, on the bottom. So over here, you need to have peaches on top and price on the bottom. Okay, you can't have peaches on top of one of them and peaches on the bottom of the other. That's not going to work. Okay. Okay, so now I can cross multiply 11 times 1.25, and then we're going to divide by 5. Okay. When I first introduced this concept to you, I did it in 2 steps. I said 11.125 equals 5x. 11 times 1.25 equals 5x. Okay. Then I divided both sides by 5. So here I've just done it all in 1 step. And that's going to give me $2.75. Okay, so 11 peaches should cost us $2.75. Now, the other way to do it is to find the unit price first. Now, if I'm going to find the unit price, the dollar amount has to be on top because my statement has to say it's this much money per peach. Okay, so I'm going to go 125 divided by 5, and I get 25 cents per peach. 25 cents per peach. Now, I need 11 peaches, so I multiply that by 11, and I still get the 275. Okay. Awesome, possum. Okay, your turn to try. You are going to tackle numbers 1 to 6. So pause me and check that out. Make sure you check the answers at the back of the lesson, and then come back when you're ready. All right, welcome back. I missed you. Class example number 3. Okay, Jackson needs to purchase toilet paper and has found the following 3 options. Okay, so Save on Foods is advertising Charmin Ultra Soft Toilet Paper 20 triple rolls for $22.95. Costco has Charmin Ultra Soft Toilet Paper 30 jumbo rolls for $27.99. And Amazon is selling Charmin Ultra Strong Toilet Paper 24 triple rolls for $19.46. Now, the question is, which is the better buy? So for each one of these, we're going to find the unit rate so that we can compare the unit rate. Remember, when we're trying to find the unit price, the dollar amount has to go on top, and then the quantity that you're buying has to go on the bottom. So I've color coded this for you. So Save on Foods is purple up here and it's purple down here. 22.99 divided by 20. That's going to give me $1.15 a roll. Costco is 30 jumbo rolls for $27.99. So we'll go $27.99 because the price has to go on the top. Divided by 30, and that's going to give me 93 cents a roll. And then Amazon, which is in that darker blue here, I've got 1946 for 24 rolls. So I go 1946 divided by 24, and that's going to give me 81 cents a roll. So when I compare these prices, 81 cents a roll is the cheapest. So it appears that Amazon has the better price per roll. Okay, now, more important is the next part of this question. What other factors beside price should Jackson consider when making the purchase? Okay, now, I'll just hide myself so you can see that for a sec. Okay. This is actually a really, really important question. Okay. Because there's always other factors than just the price. And I'm just going to read through some with you right now. We could do something like this. How much toilet paper are you actually getting? So you'll notice that there was a jumbo roll and a triple roll. Well, what's the difference, right? If the jumbo roll is 3 times the size of the triple roll, well, maybe that has to come into play. Maybe you need to think about that. What's your preference between soft and strong toilet paper, right? They were different kind of qualities. I don't know if qualities is a good word because we're going to assume they're all top-notch toilet paper, but there's different textures of the toilet paper. So maybe your preference for toilet paper, that comes into play. Maybe you want to buy something a little bit more expensive because you like it better. Do you have space to store it all? It's no good to buy 1,000 rolls of toilet paper because it's on a really, really good deal if then you can't find your bed because your room is full of toilet paper, right? So that's also a thought. Will it be delivered to you or do you need to go get it? Is the delivery worth something to you, right? You know, if you have to get in your car and drive for 20 minutes to a store, is it worth it to you? This is more a matter of personal preference, but it is a factor you need to think about. Is it worth it to pay a little more and have it delivered instead of you having to go out? Okay, these are all really, really good factors to think about. Now, one we didn't mention here, but often comes up, I'm going to go back to my example of peanut butter for a second. Can you actually eat the product you're buying before it goes bad? Okay, that's another thing to think about. Lots of things are perishable when we're talking about food. Toilet paper is okay, you can store that for as long as you want. But for food items, you got to make sure you can actually consume it in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. Okay, so now you're going to try on my own question 7 to 10. And you will also see that that brings us to the end of this journey for lesson 3 together. So check your answers in the back of the book, make sure you're comfy, okay? And that will set you up to finish the 3rd lesson. So by this time in your little unit book, we should have completed pages 11 to 15, okay? Make sure you come and chat with me if you have any questions. I am here to help. You will never, ever bother me asking questions, okay? All right, I will see you for lesson 4 when you're ready. Take care, guys.